welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Brooke, and I love doing videos about learning about other cultures and learning from people's backgrounds and just sharing my travel story adventures. So if that sounds interesting, please stay tuned for more videos. And I want to thank everyone who commented in my past videos. I love hearing from you guys and hearing about different things about your guys' culture that I may not have known. So thank you for that. So today I'm going to be telling you guys a story about how I got lost in a bus in Mexico City. And yes, looking back at it now, I'm like, oh my goodness, how did I do that? Why did I do that? How dumb could I have been? But I feel like we all have moments like these, so I'm going to share my story about this, so hopefully you guys don't do the same thing and pay better attention for your directions or to your directions and where you're going. And when you feel like something's not right, maybe turn around instead of just going like I did. So anyway, the story begins in Mexico City this past summer. I was there for 2 months, and me and some of my classmates were coming home, and we all lived with host families around the city, but a few of us lived in the south, and our host families had taught us how to use the public transportation from the southern part of the city to the center part of the city where we had some classes and things, but they never taught us how to get from the center part of the city back to the south, like we're back home to where we lived. And so one day we were coming back, and it was a really long day, and me and my roommate said to ourselves, like, why don't we just try to use public transportation home? Like, what could it hurt? Like, if we get lost, we'll just take an Uber home, so it's no big deal, which we're going to use an Uber anyway. Like, we would have used an Uber anyway, so might as well, like, try to save some money. And some of the other girls who also lived in the southern part of the city thought this was a good idea. So we took the metro from the center part of the city to the last stop, and we knew that, like, when we're coming from the southern part of the city to the center part of the city, we just took a bus that met us to that last stop. So in my head, I'm thinking, surely we just have to take a bus from this last metro stop to our house. No big deal, right? So we're looking around for quite a while for this bus, walking around, and it had been a long day. Like, we had been on the metro so much. We'd been up to the northern part of the city and back, so we were just tired and ready to be home. We were hungry, but we finally found the bus, or at least we thought we did. We found the bus, and we thought we had to go to San Andres, which, looking back, I have no idea what I was doing or where we should have been. I still don't know. I'm confused by it all. But anyway, we got on the bus and we're driving. My friend's host mom had told them to stop at a certain point and that they would pick them up just because it was easier for them. So that was fine. I was like, they live further away than we do anyway. That makes sense. And we were supposed to stop at a certain point in La Jolla, and I asked the bus driver, and I asked if we were going to stop there, and I couldn't tell what he said. He at least acknowledged what I said, so I assumed he was saying yes, or that he would stop for us, because we're driving through. It's a pretty, like lots of people would stop there anyway, so I just figured he probably would stop. And I don't know if he ever did or didn't or what happened, but as far as I knew, we never stopped there. So we kept driving, and I was confused. I didn't know what happened. Our friends had already, got off the bus. So it was just me, my roommate, and another girl. And we start driving. I'm like, everything looks familiar. I think we just need to go to the top of the hill, and that's where our house is. But everything was looking familiar until suddenly it was not. Like, we took a turn, and suddenly nothing looked like it should. It felt very wrong. And I did not know where we were, and I was trying to look on the map. I'm like, I feel like we're going the wrong way, but I'm pretty sure he's going to turn around because the final destination of the bus said San Andres, or so I thought. I don't know. I'm still confused by the whole thing. Those Mexicans, let me tell you, people who live in Mexico City, they are beasts. They know how to travel around the city like nobody's business. They know it like the back of their hand. They can hop off and on all this public transportation, and I'm over here like just trying to get from point A to point B, and I somehow managed to get lost. So yes, moral of the story is I am not good at directions. Anyway, so we are still on the bus, and little by little people are getting off the bus and more people are getting off the bus, and I'm like, this is not looking familiar at all. Before I knew it, the roads turned into dirt roads, and I'm like, oh no, we need to get off. But I was confused by the whole thing. I didn't know what to do, and I also felt like I was the only person responsible. Like, I don't like to be the person who has to take control of a bad situation, especially. And I was also the one who probably knew more Spanish than others, and so I kind of saw that they were like not going to take that step of like, okay guys, let's figure this out. So I am like over there freaking out. I'm like, what should I do? If everything goes wrong, this is all my fault. I'm gonna get in trouble. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. So anyway, the bus eventually stops. There's nobody else on the bus except for us three, the bus driver, and I think it was his helper. It was either his helper or his wife. I'm not really sure if they even have like a bus helper, but she was on there and definitely like worked with him. And I just was so confused, and I started talking to him. I'm like, I don't know what we're doing here. Like, where are we? I thought we were going to stop in La Jolla. We need to go here. And I'm like showing him on my Google Maps. I'm like, I need to go where that heart is saved, like that little star or whatever. And he's just like, I don't know where that's at. I'm sorry. And eventually we figured out that we probably should have stopped, or he told us we should have stopped where our friend stopped earlier. And we were just confused, and at this point I didn't even think we could get a taxi from out there. Like, we were so far out. I think we were in the state of Mexico, not even in the city of Mexico at that point. I don't really know. And he was so sweet. I really just felt like God was looking out for us, and he had these certain people that were in this place at that time to help us when we really needed it, because I was like, this could be a terrible situation. Like, you hear of horrible things happening to people all the time, and it could have been a bad situation, but it really wasn't. He literally was like, you know what, I'll drive you guys to La Jolla, like, it's no problem, I'll drive you guys there. And we're just like, are you serious? Like, I was shocked. And then while we're having this whole conversation, this guy gets on the back of the bus, and he kind of senses some confusion and maybe a little bit of tension, and he writes in his like Google Translate like in Spanish, so that because he could tell we were a bunch of gringas, obviously. And he writes like in the Google Translate and shows us his phone after we all sit back down, and he's basically like saying, do you need help? Are you guys lost? I can help you if you want. And it was really sweet. We're like, no, it's okay, we got it taken care of, but thank you. And I'm just like, wow, like, look at all these people that God put in our path to look out for us. Like, what bus driver is going to just go way out of his way and take us to La Jolla just because we were stupid and missed our stop? Like, really? Like, that's awesome. Anyway, so he took us to La Jolla, and from there we were just so tired. It was starting to get dark. We just took an Uber from there back to our houses, and we were so exhausted. We counted it up by the end of the day, just from everything from the morning, the afternoon, all the traveling throughout the city. We had at least 5 hours of being on public transportation that day, and we were just exhausted, and it was stressful. So we went home, ate our food, and went straight to bed. Like, I was so tired, I was so done, and I was just like, never am I gonna do that again. Which, I'll have you guys know, by the end of the summer in Mexico City, me and my roommate did figure out how to get from the center of the city back home, and which buses to take, and all of that. So we did learn. But oh yeah, if you don't know where you're going, I highly recommend that you ask, or at least when things are looking like they shouldn't, maybe get off, turn around. Don't be like us and wait till the last second when we realize we're in some place we've never seen before and we don't know how to get back home. That's just, yeah, not a good idea. But anyway, thank you so much for listening to that story. Hopefully you can learn how to maybe be wiser with directions, not like me. But thank you so much for watching and listening to this video, and I will see you in the next video.